ESPN Speed World welcomes you live to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The second round of qualifying has concluded. The field has been set for the third running of the Brickyard 400 tomorrow afternoon. There are thousands of people here, and they have seen some drama play out today. But now the task at hand is the final hour of practice, the so-called happy hour. It is an incredibly important time for these drivers. It's when they make their final setups and hopefully get their car up to full speed for tomorrow's run for the Brickyard 400. Well, we welcome you back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We have been on the ESPN2 for the last hour. We had some drama during qualifying, and the first thing we have to do is say goodbye to Ned. He's been with us the past hour, but you've got some work to do at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Where tonight we'll have the Busch Grand National Kroger 200 on ESPN at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Great field out there. Randall LaJoie will start on the pole. David Green alongside. Number of drivers who are running here. Dick Trickle, Dale Jarrett, and Kenny Wallace. Several others will be going out there to run in that race tonight.
Well, Dale Jarrett certainly had one of the big stories here yesterday, besides the one established by Jeff Gordon as he won the pole for the second straight year. Dale Jarrett got high off of corner number 4, banged the wall, but still was able to qualify, and he will start 24th. Here's Jerry Punch.
And Bob, he has to hustle here because this final practice session means he gets to get a couple laps in this quality Care Ford Thunderbird and heads out to Indianapolis Raceway Park. Dale, I know you're trying to concentrate and get ready, but yesterday is behind you today. The car's been fixed, and it looks like it's coming back up to speed.
Yeah, the car was pretty good this morning. Just a few adjustments here this afternoon as the temperature goes up a little bit. I think we're in pretty good shape. These guys did a terrific job putting the car back together, and just got a long way to go to the front.
And got a long way to go tonight, headed to IRP for 200 laps in the Busch car.
Yeah, it's kind of a hectic schedule, but important weekend for our sponsor over there, Band-Aid, with the Kroger stores around here. So go over there, start 8 tonight, and see what we can do there and get a good night's rest and be ready for tomorrow.
How appropriate. He tags the wall yesterday in qualifying and then goes out and gets in a Busch car sponsored by Band-Aid. Hey, let's go to Bill Weber.
It was just after 10:30 this morning. Winston Cup practice here at the Brickyard. Bobby Hillin running in a pack when smoke starts to come from the rear of his Jasper Ford. He tries to get out of the groove, but the car slips out from underneath him. Ted Musgrave dives low. Bobby Hillin ends up in the wall. His car is now back at the rig, and his team is in a desperate scramble to prepare their backup car. Bobby Hillin had qualified 5th for this race, your best qualifying effort of the season. I know you're very disappointed, Bobby.
Well, yes and no. You know, we're happy with our qualifying effort. Obviously, we hate to lose the race car. We hate to lose our 5th place qualifying spot. But I tell you what, we're so proud of this Jasper team. These guys have worked their tails off for the past 3 months, getting the cars ready. And now today, the effort they're putting in, they got their heads up, and I've got my head up. And we've got our old warhorse out here, and it's ready to go. It's not quite the car that our other one was, but it's definitely a solid race car. And, you know, we're going to come back strong, and it's going to, you know, just pump us up that much more.
You have 1 hour to get this car race ready.
Well, we tested this car too, so we've done a little bit of work, a little bit of homework, so we all feel confident this car will be competitive tomorrow.
Bobby Hillin is in the car. He drove at Loudon. His sponsor is just 2.5 hours from here. This is a big race for him, his team, and his sponsor.
Yeah, certainly a tough break for Bobby Hillin, who was very high after his qualifying performance yesterday, but things like that happen. Now, Benny Parsons, you've been in this situation many times, waiting to go out onto the racetrack for the final hour of practice. How really important is this?
Oh, this is very, very important. The decisions that these teams make and the drivers make this next hour will determine who wins the Brickyard 400. No question about it.
Do you run a lot of laps? Do you run few laps? What do you do?
Well, this is a 2.5-mile racetrack. I think here probably 10 or 15 laps in a row is enough. I don't think you got to run 20 or 30 like you would at a Martinsville or North Wilkesboro or Bristol or maybe even Rockingham, Dover, a 1-mile racetrack, because here 10 laps is 25 miles. You're burning a lot of fuel off, and you should be able to tell in those laps just what the car is going to do.
Is drafting a factor here, and will they be doing that here in the next hour?
Yeah, drafting is definitely a factor, and yes, they'll be trying to draft. At the end of the straightaway is when the draft will mean the most, but the car's got to handle well enough to come up off the corner. See, I'm using my hands like a race car driver does as they come up off the corner.
Okay, well, we're going to see how all this happens because the cars and the drivers are set to go onto the racetrack for happy hour prior to tomorrow's Brickyard 400. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The word has not been given yet, but it will soon. The permission for the cars to go on to this 2.5-mile oval for the final hour of practice. Let's take a look at our AutoZone race recap, and this will show you the starting lineup for tomorrow's Brickyard 400.
Look how close those times are, starting at 1:76.419. Jeff Gordon, the only car in the 176, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the 175s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the 174s, and he goes on to the next page.
Closely bunched starting field. In fact, 174 clear down through 28th, BP.
Good gracious, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, something like that in the 174 range. So it is going to be awfully competitive.
Those 26 through 40 qualifiers were from today's session. It was completed about 45 minutes ago. Ricky Craven and Dave Marcus got into this starting lineup taking provisionals.
And there is not a really slow car in the field.
Well, with happy hour just about ready to begin, let's take a detailed look at this 2.5-mile oval. 3,300 feet, the front stretch and the back stretch. The corners are banked only at 9 degrees, and the straightaways are completely flat. So it is a bit of a challenge and certainly a different track than they compete on any other time.
Bob, I got a question for you, Bob. When this racetrack was brick, what was the banking in the corners? Do you know?
9 degrees, 11 minutes, just like it is today.
Oh, okay.
Here it is, BP. We head down into turn number 1, and when you get there, I'm sure you act like it's almost a 90-degree turn, don't you?
Yes, you do. Where's all that 300,000 people in the stands that's going to be there tomorrow?
This is looking down the back straightaway now. It must seem like an eternity until you get to corner number 3. There's the warm-up lane there to the inside of the racetrack through the short chute, turn number 4, and then on to the main straightaway again. And you're right, there are people on both sides, and you got the master control tower and the scoring pylon. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And that's the golf course on the backstretch. The little white, the blue lake is exactly a lake.
I just had a feeling you were going to mention the golf course.
Yes.
And there is the yard of bricks. As you know, this place was completely brick at one time, but now only a yard of brick remains. Well, one guy who would like to be the first across that tomorrow drives the Coors Light car, Kyle Petty. Here's Bill.
And Kyle will start 12th. His best finish this year is 11th, and I know you'd like to see a Petty name in victory lane from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, you know, it wouldn't be bad. You know, I guess this is about the only place that we run that was built when my father was driving that he didn't run. You know what I mean? New Hampshire came along after him and some of these other places. So I'm like the last holdout of the Petty crowd to drive at some of these places. It would be special for us and be special for this team to be able to come out here and win a race.
I know, Kyle, you want to get this car to victory lane before this year is out because you have other plans for next season. Any of those formalized yet?
No, I'm still working. You know, this still came about, and Felix and I are. You know, like I've said a million times, I love the guy, and it's been a hard thing and a hard decision, but you know, it was just time for me to move on, and I'm still up in the air on a lot of different things, and still just playing it by ear, trying to concentrate on driving this race car right now, and that's the main thing.
And that's what he's going to do: climb in the Coors Light Pontiac and test it in the final hour before the Brickyard 400.
It was so neat to see him here for the initial tire testing session that they had when he came here for the very first time. He had his video camera rolling and was more concerned about doing that than just about anything else. 39 of the 40 starters broke Jeff Gordon's qualifying record that he set last year of 172.536. Well, it is time, ladies and gentlemen. The cars have been given the green light, and they are pulling on to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for happy hour.
It's definitely feeding time at the zoo.
While they get up to speed, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, stand by for full speed and happy hour from the Indianapolis Speedway. What was second round qualifying day has now turned into happy hour day. The final hour of practice is underway at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. ES Speed World's presentation of this event being brought to you by Pennzoil Motor Oil, first to fully achieve the tougher 1997 GF2 performance standard. By AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. By Delco Electronics, official sponsor of the Brickyard 400. And by the NASCAR Story. To order, call 800-71 NASCAR. The thunder has begun. It is noisy here at the track. We've got cars all around, each of them seeking that extra bit of speed for tomorrow's race. There's Jeff Gordon leading this group, but look at Morgan Shepherd.
Jeff Gordon, the poster, is being passed by the 38th fastest car here. Is that unbelievable or what? That's amazing.
Here comes Lake Speed closing in on the back of Jeff Gordon's car. Shepherd around 190 at the end of the front straightaway and 179 into the corner.
Oh, he slipped up, got a little bit high that time, so Gordon is going to try to take advantage of that. Can he? Is he onside? No, he's not.
Looks like he may be pulling off. Yeah, he is. He's slowing down and coming into the pit. So now Lake Speed takes up the chase of Morgan Shepherd. 177 at the end of the backstretch. You compare that to what they were running in qualifying.
193.94 down in turn 1 in qualifying. And we can see that the wind is blowing briskly down the front stretch because it's 190 going in that corner and 177 going in the third corner. Lake Speed, that spam car goes up right on the back of Morgan Shepherd.
Lake Speed will start third tomorrow, 175.840. Now we'll see if Morgan is speeding up on this lap as the white numbers change to black.
Yeah, he was 190 and going into the last time. It's 193 this time. We failed on the second corner to get that speed. We'll try 177 going in the back.
Jarrett is the third car in this line.
A little bit faster. It's 2 miles an hour faster that time. Dale Jarrett closes up in that quality care.
Faster in the short chute between turns 3 and 4. Last lap, Morgan Shepherd turned to 169.591. 169.994 that time. Interested no longer is Robbie Gordon.
Checking everything out. I saw he and Michael Kranifus walking through the garage here a few moments ago, arm in arm.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk maybe that Robbie might drive that car next year, but he told us yesterday that he thought he'd go back to Indy cars. Here comes Kyle Petty out on the racetrack. We talked with him just a few moments ago as he prepared to get into this car to go out. Shepherd Speed and Dale Jarrett continuing to run together. And now Ted Musgrave comes up to join this group, and Jeff Burton is out there also. So we got a front straightaway full of race cars.
Here's coming on them. It's Kenny Wallace. Looks like Mike Skinner in the GM Goodrich car. Jimmy Spencer, the Smoking Joe. That was Kenny Schrader behind in the Budweiser Chevrolet.
Let's track the 3 car. They've had a lot of sorting out to do in this car for Mike Skinner, who will drive it tomorrow. We don't know how much he will drive it, whatever Dale Earnhardt decides that he wants to step out.
and he will make that decision. And he only, I would imagine, Dale Earnhardt I'm talking about.
This is the car that qualified 12th fastest yesterday at 174.910. The defending champion of this event, Dale Earnhardt, will at least start the car tomorrow, but those injuries that he suffered in Talladega last Sunday will prevent him from running the entire race. Let's track his time now. Well, he was okay at the end of the straightaway, but he got down to 159 there in the short shoot and 160 in turn 2.
Yeah, he lost 16 miles per hour. Looks like he's coming in now.
Yep.
He's off the pace.
So he drops low onto the racetrack and will be bringing the number 3 Goodrich car into the pit area. We'll take a break and be back with more from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we cover Happy Hour. Happy Hour continues here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Second round qualifying concluded earlier today. Gary Bradbury had the fastest. Here are some of the cars that are out there in the final hour of practice. Bud Strickland, Kyle Petty, Bobby Hamilton, Kenny Wallace,
Ward Burton. Comes Rusty Wallace leading a group of cars.
Kenny Schrader's right behind him. Then Jeff Gordon. They're so close together, I couldn't even see who they were. Ricky Rudd got awful high coming out of the corner up in turn number 4. And behind him is Wally Dallenbach. Well, we documented the problems that Bobby Hillen had in the morning practice period, and there were other problems also. Joe Nemechek had a problem as he came out of corner number 4, and all of a sudden he dropped to the inside of the racetrack, and smoke began to pour from the rear end of the Burger King Chevy. Bill Weber has an update.
And this young owner driver has had the Burger King Chevy back out on the racetrack. Joe, how did it handle just then?
Not too bad. Burger King Monte Carlos, we qualified good. We're just trying to get a good race set up. Lost a motor early in the early practice this morning. Put another one in. She's fast again. So the whole key here at Indy is if you get around the racetrack, you got to get the car to the bottom of you got to hit the apex at the right spot. If you don't hit the apex at the right spot, you get real tight off, and that's what 95% of the people are fighting right now. And we're just changing sway bars, springs, shocks, lots of shocks to try and get that car to handle.
So you're saying it's all driver here, huh?
I'm going to say driver's a big percentage of how you get around here. And I know some of the drivers been talking. A lot of it's mental. Just like qualifying here, I mean, you got to know exactly what you have to do to get around Indy fast. But you got to have the car right, too. So team's working good. Everybody's putting forth a great effort, and I'm just excited to be up in the front.
Okay, some guys fighting the track, one team fighting the clock to Dr. Punch.
Exactly, Bill. 45 minutes ago, Gary Bradbury became the 26th fastest qualifier in this Shoney's Ford Thunderbird. Now there are crew members climbing all over it. One climbing out there, 2 beneath the car, 3 underneath the hood, working on the car, literally thrashing to get this car changed over from the qualifying setup to the race day setup. Look on the car. The guys working on changing the gear. They're changing adjustments in the front trailing arm, the rear trailing arms, the front steering connections. Dennis Adcox is the crew chief on that car as you watch him working beneath it. Dennis, how much of a chore is it to change the car over?
Well, this is not bad as, say, a Daytona Talladega car. We've just made a bunch of little changes. The car's been real tight since we've been here, and we want to make some chassis changes for the race because we're not going to be able to run tape on the nose, which frees the car up. So we're going to make some chassis changes. We're moving the truck arms around, changing the gear, and we'll get ready to go.
Hey, it's called Happy Hour, and time's a-wasted.
It's going to be happy half hour for us today, I think. But at least we're in. That's the main thing.
Happy half hour. That's all Gary Bradbury's going to get. But after that qualifying run, as well as this car was running, that's probably all he's going to need, Bob.
Wasn't that an outstanding run by Gary?
It was. It really was. Under the pressure that he was under, having to do it to get in the show. No provisionals, no way to get in the show other than 2 times, and he did it.
Not only accomplished getting into the field, he'll be eligible for the Busch Clash on a draw. And here we have, about 8 cars drafting and snaking down the backstretch.
It's Jeff Bodine, the QVC car leading. Rusty Wallace, Ward Burton, Kyle Petty joins the race. Art Martin in there. Schrader, Ernie Irvin. And I guess that's Jeff Burton at the end of the line.
and Ken Schrader were 2x2.
You're not supposed to do that here, are you?
I know. Now they're 3 wide going down the straightaway. Let's see if Burton and Schrader go through the corner 2x2. No, they don't. So are they practicing literally how they'll drive tomorrow?
Exactly. I mean, you might as well simulate exact race conditions, because how else can you make the changes that you need to make?
I would imagine, though, that you're not going to push it to the ultimate, because after all, if you wreck the car, you're in real trouble for tomorrow.
Well, that's right. You get in a situation that somebody's on the inside of you. You got to go on the inside of somebody. In this situation, you go back out and save it, because there's no point. And whereas in the race, you might have to go on in there.
So Jeff Bodine, Rusty Wallace off of corner number 4. We'll review the starting lineup for tomorrow's Brickyard 400 in just a moment here on ESPN as we cover Happy Hour. Stay with us. Last night at Indianapolis Raceway Park, Mike Skinner won the Craftsman Truck Series race. But when we talked to him in Victory Lane, he indicated there is more to accomplish here in Indianapolis, Indiana.
GM Goodrich service, number 1. 1 down, 1 to go.
Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, the color's the same. It's black, and the number's the same. It's 3. The sponsor's the same, and right now the driver's the same. Mike Skinner is in the car. And Mike, huge night for you last night. Dominating performance out at IRP.
I'll tell you, it was a really good night. You know, those guys put a heck of a truck under me. That GM Goodrich service Chevrolet was really rolling. Handled real good, turned real good in the middle of the corner, and had a real good motor in it. Our motor program's really starting to come back around now.
How comfortable are you getting in the car here? I know you're getting better and better, and the car seems to be getting better and better. You getting pretty good in this last session?
Yeah, our times, according to the crew, are pretty decent. You know, there's more of us in the 52s than there is 53s. You know, we're running the high 52s, which I guess the race pace, it ought to be somewhere in there. But I just need laps. You know, we're just trying to get as many laps as we can before we get pushed into this deal here.
Word is the biggest cheerleader you got is sitting over in a motor coach trying to heel in a hurry. That's Dale Earnhardt. Every time you turn a lap, he sits there and watches it and says, "Atta baby, Mike, atta baby." He saw you earlier pulling away from Marlin and said, "Man, that motor's strong."
I'll tell you, I'd like to left that motor in here. That qualifying motor was a heck of a piece, but this one right here is pretty strong. It's within 50 RPM of the other one. I'm really pumped up about it. This thing ought to run pretty good.
That's Mike Skinner. Huge shoes to fill. He said, "I could never fill the shoes. I'll just try to fill the seat for a couple of weeks until the champ comes back." Bob?
Last night at IRP, here are the top 5 finishers. BP, you were there.
Yeah, I was there. Skinner, and it was a dominating race, led all 200 laps. Sprague, Bliss, Hornaday started 13th, finished 4th, and Rich Bickle, the first, he was in there in the Dodge. Bliss driving a Ford, the other 3 drivers in Chevrolets.
There's more tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park. At 7 o'clock, RPM tonight will originate from here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A Brickyard preview with Benny and me at 7:30. Speed Week at 8:30 from IRP with Dave Despain. And then stay tuned for live coverage of the Kroger 200 Busch Grand National race from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Well, the Goodrich Chevy is all fixed and looking pretty good right now, but that was not the case last Sunday afternoon in Talladega. After a long rain delay, they finally got the race going, and then this tragic incident.
Some contact between Ernie Irvin and Sterling Marlin. Marlin gets in the side of Earnhardt. The black car Earnhardt on the inside watches he hits that quarter panel and turns him directly into the wall.
The car overturns and then is hit 2 or 3 times as it slides down the racetrack. And of course, you know the injuries that Dale Earnhardt suffered. But he is back here this weekend and trying to drive as much as he possibly can. There is what all remaining of the GM Goodrich Chevrolet. A bad day for Earnhardt, but a very good day for another driver, and that was Darrell Waltrip as he recorded his first top 10 finish of the year. Here's Bill.
Well, Darrell Waltrip has 3 Winston Cup championships, 84 victories. He got his best finish of the year last week at Talladega. You're looking to turn things around, and this would be a good place to do it.
You know, people talk about Daytona and this race and how they compare. If you're a car owner, there's no comparison. This thing pays what, $50,000 to start. And we got a lot of races. You got to run all day to make $50,000. So this is a great race, and I'm pumped. I know we're not we're 33rd, and there's some tradition about the 33rd starter here at Indy. They throw a big party for him. I'm going to find out where they're having that sucker at. I'm going to be there. We'll be in the top 10. I feel confident of that. We didn't qualify well, and that's my fault. I messed up qualifying, but this car's fast. It's good. We're okay.
This is happy hour. Is it happy hour for you?
It's pleasant hour right now. It's just pleasant. Let's put it that way. The Western Auto Parts America car will be a contender. I promise you that.
I want the tape of that. We can play it back to him tomorrow, maybe when he gets out in Victory Lane at the Brickyard. Wow.
Will there be an icky shuffle in Victory Lane if Darrell Walter wins the Brickyard 400, as there was when he won the Daytona 500? Well, here is more activity on the racetrack now. Jeff Gordon is in this group, so is Johnny Benson. Greg Sachs just got passed by Benson going into 1.
Well, Benson got a little bit high, and Gordon's going to try to turn under the 29 car of Sachs, and he did it. Great pass by Jeff Gordon. Man, the DuPont car is working.
Boy, that's just a sampling of what you're going to see tomorrow when the green flag drops on the race. Here's some sampling now of speeds that have been recorded during this happy hour. Jeff Gordon has had the fastest lap at 171.6. As you can see on there on the left of your screen, he is coming into the pit area once again. Some of the other fast speeds recorded during this session: Terry Labonte, Jimmy Spencer, Bobby Labonte, Jeff Burton, Rusty Wallace, Ken Schrader, Bud Strickland, Dale Jarrett, and Mark Martin, who will start second tomorrow. Speaking of Hut Strickland, who is 8th quick at the moment, here is his car under the gasoline alley sign as they push it back into the garage area. Stand by for more from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in just a moment. Happy hour in full swing, and Benny, look at this mess.
3 abreast down the front stretch at Indy. That's Kyle Petty blowing by Dick Trickle, and the ring mast car makes the pass. I mean, they really are. It looks like a race.
It really does. They are definitely simulating race conditions. What do you think the Pulse Center would be doing right now?
Well, they'd be working on the car, throwing springs around, shocks, and getting that thing ready to run 400 miles here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Aren't they? Yeah. See what I tell you?
They're pretty good.
And changing the gear. I guess they aren't changing the gear. Maybe they are.
He's got the fastest speed, though, during the session so far. Jerry, are you there?
Well, Bob, I am here as Ray Evernham is talking to the pole sitter and his driver, Jeff Gordon. Looks like you would think these guys are starting 43rd and not first, but of course that's sort of the MO for Ray Evernham. It's never enough. We're going to keep working and keep working and keep working. Ray is over here talking to his young driver, and maybe we can come in and, well, they're smiling. I don't know if it's overly serious, but hey, Ray, let me ask you a quick question. You guys are on the pole. You're faster than anybody else here, yet you're probably working harder than anybody else. It just doesn't sort of figure.
Well, it does. It made the rest of those guys mad, you know, so they're going to be coming behind us pretty hard. So I need to keep them out front because track position is going to be pretty important.
What all are you doing? You're making a bunch of changes here.
We're just trying some gear and some different tire sets, things like that, to try and find out what it's going to take to the end.
All right, we'll leave you alone. Ray Evernham and Jeff Gordon, that's the front inside front row duo as they are going to change the gear. We'll show you, we'll tilt down here in the front and show you that's the gear that's going to go in the car. We'll tilt down right here. This gear is going in the car. They're underneath the car pulling another gear out. So even though you're the fastest thing here at the Brickyard, it's not enough when it comes to race day. They're going to try to get the car a little more comfortable for Jeff Gordon. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Well, just updating you, Bobby Hillen crashed his primary car this morning about 10:30. He's just had his back out on the track for the first time. We'll lean in here. Bobby, how was it?
It wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad for a first time out on the racetrack. We're going to make some adjustments, and you know, we weren't that fast down the straightaway. This car's got a lot of drag. It's, you know, like I say, we ran it loud, but we get it pointing better and coming off the corner better, it'll definitely go down the straightaway better. So, you know, it's about where I expect this to be first time out.
It's a very frantic pace in here. They're trying to flare out the front fenders. They're working on the bar and the rear end. They're about 0.3 of a second off what the fast guys are running out on the racetrack right now.
And the fast guy is Jeff Gordon, 171.644. Rusty Wallace is on the racetrack.
He's the 4th car in that group as Jeff Burton goes by Ricky Craven. That's Burton in the 99 Exide car. Ricky Craven, the 41. That's Brett Bodine in 11th, the 3rd car. Then Rusty and Morgan Shepherd.
Jeff Burton, 171.416. Rusty, 171.210. Their best lap so far in the session. Rusty's going to make a pass on Brett Bodine, and he's going to bring Morgan Shepherd with him.
And Morgan about missed a corner that time. When you see those guys come off the corner high.
Whoa, look at that.
And you see cars up where Ricky Craven is. That is definitely not the place to go. We heard Joe Nemechek tell one of our reporters just a moment ago that get in that apex right. Down in these corners, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is so critical. Right there, right there is where we're talking about. You want to be perfect. Down right next to the grass at that point. If you can't do it, you're not going to have a good lap.
Does that left front want to get light on you when you go around the corner that fast?
Well, that's why all these cars are running rear sway bars. Without those bars, this racetrack would be embanked only 9 degrees. You're exactly right. It would feel very light there. But they run a rear sway bar to keep the back from rolling over so much. And when the back doesn't roll over, then that keeps the left front on the ground. And you have a feeling that all 4 tires are on the ground. Did I understand that?
Yeah, that's very good. Dale Jarrett is headed out for some more practice. He's ran a 171.057 in this practice session, and Jerry is standing by there in the Ernie Irvin garage area.
Well, the Texaco crew, actually Robert Yates, who owns this operation, is underneath the hood and getting this car dialed in as Larry McReynolds and the crew now sitting over here. Let me touch base with Larry. Larry, the name of this last one is Happy Hour. Are you happy right now?
Oh, we're not too bad right now, you know. We're just, we put our race motor in, trying to get the guys some plug checks on it. May even come in and put 2 tires on with 2 old left sides here in a little bit and see how that reacts. Again, track position is going to be really important. You can be a half a second quicker than another car, but it's still hard to pass.
Tire wear has been excellent here all week. That would mean maybe if the fuel is as good as you hope it is, you maybe could cut back on a pit stop and just take a pair of rights.
Oh, I think you're going to see a lot of that tomorrow. I think you'll see some fuel only, and I think you'll definitely see some 2-tire stops, especially near the end of the race. Goodyear has got an awesome tire here. It's the same tire they developed for the repave at Pocono, and obviously it's working great here at Indy.
I hate to remind you, but that first Brickyard, 5 laps to go, you cut a right front, and that probably cost you the race, but that's old potatoes.
Well, it really is. You know, we've had a good car for 2 years in a row here. This is the same car we run those first 2 events here at the Brickyard. And, you know, no track owes you nothing, but we do kind of feel like we got one coming here.
Hey, let me leave quickly before we say hello to Ernie back here. Hey, Ern, can you do it, partner, coming back to the Brickyard? The first year, you almost pulled it off.
Well, if I knew I could do it, then we wouldn't have to race. I tell you, we got a really good race car, and you know, it's just going to be who gets in the right track position and, you know, is running good during the end of the race.
A confident Ernie Irvin starts 15th tomorrow for the Brickyard 400, Bob.
That graphic right there says a lot about what he's been doing recently. Top 5 finishes in the last 5 races. Well, everybody in the top 10 here in this happy hour is running in the 171-mile-an-hour range, led by Jeff Gordon at 171.6. Terry Labonte has moved up to 2nd on the chart at 171.635, and Jimmy Spencer has turned at an identical speed to that. Another break and back in just a moment under clear, partly cloudy skies in Indianapolis. The excitement of seeing cars run wheel to wheel and nose to tail has been brought to a grinding halt because of this crash involving Bobby Hamilton. The good news is he is out of the car. He got out under his own power and waved to the fans as he got there. He is on the far right of your screen. But this obviously was a very hard hit for Bobby Hamilton. Over in turn 2, Benny.
Yeah, and we can't tell exactly what happened. He's the only car involved in the crash. I don't know if he got tagged going in the corner in the left rear, and as he corrected, the car came back in.
But obviously not a car that will compete tomorrow. Jerry Punch is with Richard Petty.
Richard, I hate to be coming to you to talk right now when your car just took a heavy impact into the wall, but the good news is your driver's okay.
Well, that was the main thing. He said it just got away from him over, I guess, and I don't really know what happened. I hadn't got to talk to him yet.
You know, it's been a tough week for you guys. The STP crew working so hard, Robbie and the guys trying to get him dialed in. You have those weeks in Winston Cup racing.
Well, it's just been that way. We was up here a couple, 3 weeks ago and really run good and cut a tire down and running the wall, totaled out a brand new car. Then we tested the other car and it run good, and then we took it down to Pocono and they crashed it. And brought this one that's never really performed as good as what the other two did, and now it ain't going to perform no more either. So I guess we'll get something else off, try it again.
Well, Richard somehow able to smile the king with us here, and we'll let him go on and check on your driver. Richard, best of luck to you tomorrow.
There's the scene of the crash just off of corner number 2. Hamilton is in the ambulance going to the medical center, but he did get out of the car under his own power. This is a replay from just a few minutes ago.
He waves to a fan that yells to him over there. He goes to look at things and says, oh, man, oh, man. Evidently, he feels like something might have happened. You see him go to the right front to see, I guess maybe to see if the tire was flat or exactly what was going on. Him walking over to the right front, he felt like something happened to the car.
And so things are quiet now here at the Speedway as the rescue crew is there and will clean up things after Bobby Hamilton's crash in turn number 2. Happy hour interrupted by a crash involving Bobby Hamilton here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tomorrow, of course, the big Brickyard 400. ESPN Speed World coverage this afternoon is being brought to you by the more than 1,350 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. And by Chevrolet. One car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR. Genuine Chevrolet. Let's take a look at the starting grid once again for tomorrow's running of the 3rd annual Brickyard 400. And this is the qualifying order. We do have some changes that will be going into effect prior to tomorrow's event because Bobby Hillen, that you see there, who qualified 5th, crashed this morning. He'll have to go to backup car and go on the back row. And of course, Bobby Hamilton, that you'll see a little bit later, will also be going to the back row as a result of his crash just a few minutes ago.
There's 16 through 30. Michael Waltrip back in. And look at Jeff Burton back in 28th. And in happy hour, he has been running very, very well. As a matter of fact, he's about the 5th or 6th fastest car.
5th,
And Bobby Hamilton qualified 37th. He's got to go all the way back to 40th.
And again, those changes will not occur until the cars roll out onto the racetrack tomorrow. So it's quiet here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it's almost deafening. It's weirder than to have 40 cars out there at speed.
You know, Bob, I have gone to sleep at a racetrack while practice or a race is going on. And with all that noise, I've been able to go to sleep. When the caution comes out or something happens like that and the noise stops, you wake up.
That's right.
So, yeah, there's nothing in the world quieter than a racetrack.
Especially when you know that they're supposed to be out there doing a lot of work and all of a sudden it gets quiet and you think, uh-oh, something bad has happened, and something bad has happened, but it isn't all that bad because Bobby Hamilton is out of the car and apparently okay. But they got a lot of work to do getting that backup car prepared.
You know, Richard Petty touched on it, but let's just talk about Bobby Hamilton and Richard Petty's luck here at the Brickyard. He said they were testing here 2 or 3 weeks ago. A brand new race car. You dirty dog.
Thanks a lot, Rusty.
Rusty Wallace saw we were talking. He stopped and revved the engine so that he would
drown out everything we were saying.
Anyway, Richard Petty, they had a car here 2 or 3 weeks ago, tested, brand new race car, cut a tire down, hit the wall, killed that car. So they brought the backup out, and it ran very well here. And it all set up. They go to Pocono, which is a racetrack similar to this, used that car, crashed it. So both their Brickyard cars are gone. So they bring up the best substitute they can here, and now they have crashed in. So the car they start tomorrow would be 4th choice.
Boy, got a long way to go from the back of the field and a lot of work going on in the garage area, right, Bill Weber?
Oh, that's right, Bob. 2 years ago, Bobby Adelson Motorsports missed this event. But Saturday, race day, even though they weren't here, it turned out to be one of their best days ever. They signed a full-time sponsor, and they put Derek Cope in the seat. Now they have Babcock Home Furnishings on the hood. Derek Cope's still in the seat. How you running, man?
Well, we're starting to get a little bit of a handle on this thing. I really feel bad for the Badcock Furniture and the pilot folks because of our qualifying effort, but we made a few changes here, and the car's responding, so I'm optimistic.
You start 35th, Derek. Got to carve your way through.
Yeah, we do, but I think we can get up there relatively quickly. The car feels real good right now.
Okay, he dropped the window net so we could talk. He's waiting to go back out. Jerry Punch has discovered a potential problem during happy hour.
Well, Bill, happy hour is to find out if there's any problem with the car. Get rid of all the gremlins. Now, what a lot of the crews are seeing is problems right here in the front grille section. Not only are they getting a lot of rubber buildup here, which will occlude the grille and allow overheating, but take a look at this. These flecks here, I've already pulled some of it away. Folks, that's a cigarette butt, but this right here, that's grass. Actual grass that's filling the front grille section like it in your lawnmower. Where you turn your lawnmower upside down and there's grass caked around the blade. That will totally occlude the vents here in the front of the car and create a problem. Let me grab Eddie Wood here a second, who's the crew chief for Michael Waltrip. And Eddie, are you seeing a lot of this with grass cake in the front of the car?
Yeah, we ran about 8 or 10 laps this morning, and it was covered. I don't know where they're getting. I guess they're getting so low in the corners they're touching the grass, and I guess it'll eventually be dirt. Once we get to the dirt, the grass, maybe it'll clean up a little bit, but we're having to open our grill up quite a bit more than we normally would. And we're like running 205 degrees with a normal opening, and I've just opened up 2 more inches, so we'll see what happens.
Well, that's a problem. It's certainly a cause for concern here in the Citgo garage, and I'm told a number of other garages are seeing the same thing. And when he's talking about opening the hood up, there was tape right here just a moment ago. He cut with a razor blade and peeled this tape off to open that 2-inch right there section so they can get more air in the radiator. We'll have to watch for overheating tomorrow in the Brickyard 400. Bob?
All right, now Benny Parsons picked up on this very quickly right after the cars got onto the racetrack. He noted this discolored grassy area just off the pavement. The cars actually run down in there, don't they?
That's where the left front tire is going, and they're mowing the grass. You can see where it's down to dirt there right next to the racetrack. They're mowing the grass, and that grass is coming up, getting in the grill. And these cars are going to keep going and going and going as far down as they possibly can, because as a racetrack gets slick, they've got to try to find a green racetrack to run on. They don't want to go up high because it makes the racetrack longer. They want to go down low, so they're going to have most of the left front tire on that grass.
This is what we don't like to see, though. Those are the skid marks created by Bobby Hamilton when he went into the wall right in front of the suites there in turn number 2. Bobby out of the car and okay. And Richard Petty is talking to someone from Goodyear back there in the garage area. Bobby Hamilton's okay, though, but the car extensively damaged during happy hour. All this discussion going on, trying to figure out what happened there.
That's Rick Campbell, one of the Goodyear engineers, that's talking to Richard, and evidently they're talking like, I don't know. Well, I won't speculate because I don't know.
Good idea. Okay, well, we got about 7 more minutes left in our coverage. Happy hour has been brought to a halt because of the crash. We'll be back in just a moment. 7 o'clock tonight, RPM tonight from here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But John Kernan over on the Deuce. Benny and I with a Brickyard preview at 7:30 here on ESPN. Speed Week with Dave Despain tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park at 8:30. And then 9 o'clock live coverage of the Kroger 200 Busch Grand National Race, also from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Tomorrow, our coverage continues. First of all, on the Deuce, 11:30 RPM today, a Brickyard pre-race program, an hour's worth from noon until 1 o'clock. Then the Brickyard 400 on ABC at 1, and RPM tonight at 5 o'clock Eastern Time on the Deuce. Jerry is with Rick Campbell, the Goodyear engineer who was talking with Richard Petty.
And Rick, let's set it straight. There was no problem with the Goodyear tire at all?
No, Jerry, there sure wasn't. It's just double checking, but everything's fine. Robbie and Richard say it just got off from underneath them. So.
Hey, the teams here are applauding the fact that they're seeing minimal tire wear on this Goodyear tire. Is this a new tire here or one you've run this year?
It's a new tire this year, but we've raced it at both the Pocono races so far this year with very good results. Teams have been very happy with it, and they were very pleased that we decided to bring it here as well.
Well, teams are thinking about 2 tire stops, and Bobby Hamilton just walked in over here, and we'll walk over while we have a few minutes before we go off the air. Bobby, first of all, it's good to see that you're okay. That was a pretty hard lick. You all right?
After the lick I took up here in testing, doctor, I don't think nothing can help me. Yeah, I'm fine. It just popped my neck a little bit and hurt my right knee a little bit, but I was able to run down here, so I think it's okay.
So what happened up there? Just the car, was it getting a little slippery out there?
It seems like it got a little looser for us right there after second round qualifying. We was real good before that. I was just running along, and I had been a little squirrely, but I was trying to run a little bit and burn a little fuel off, see if it get any better, because you push so bad here in traffic, you know, everybody starts a little neutral. And I probably shouldn't have run as long as I did, but we've been having trouble with the car the whole time we've been here. So except for costing us a lot of money and our pride a little bit, it might have been a blessing in disguise.
Well, thankfully, you're okay. Let's take a look at this race car that just rolled in here. This is another backup Pontiac Grand Prix, and looks like a super speedway car. We'll get out of the way here a second, and they're going to raise the hood, see if there's an engine inside. And Robbie, is this a speedway car?
The car we sat on the pole with at Michigan. It's probably a better car than the one we just wrecked, so we'll be in good shape.
All right, that's the pole sitter from Michigan. Did have an engine already inside it. They rolled it over here. And as they get this car prepared for what are the final few minutes of happy hour, let's get a rookie perspective of what's going to happen tomorrow for his first ride in the Brickyard 400. Here's Johnny Benson with Bill Weber.
And he will start 14th as a rookie. Johnny, what's it mean to you to be starting in the Brickyard 400 tomorrow?
I tell you, that's pretty cool. You know, to qualify 14th, we're extremely happy for this Pennzoil Pontiac. And, you know, to get on first round, everybody wants to do that first day. And I'll tell you what, we're pretty excited where we're starting.
Johnny, how will you sleep tonight knowing the historic meaning this track has behind it and how big a payday potentially lies ahead?
I was going to sleep great until you put all that in. We're going to sleep pretty good. You know, maybe not that day before qualifying, but now that we got qualified, you know, we're pretty excited about the start of the race.
Okay, and this team may have finally hit their stride. They're really running well. Their confidence is up. Tomorrow could be a big day for the Pennzoil Pontiac.
Johnny Benson, as Bill indicates, starts 14th in the lineup.
And there we see Doyle Ford, one of the NASCAR officials, already putting the 43 car through inspection. You just can't roll a car off the truck and say, I'm going to race this car. It has to be passed by NASCAR before it's legal to race, and that process has already started.
But boy, what a crapshoot, because this car is not going to have a lap on the track until it gets out there tomorrow. And the 17 car of Darrell Waltrip apparently just blew an engine. Better today than tomorrow.
Oh yeah, better than the first or 10th lap tomorrow, that's for certain.
Darrell Waltrip had a great run at Talladega last Sunday, and he's got an engine problem right now. Let's take a look at the grid once again for tomorrow's race. And I'll remind you that if there are any changes, for instance, Bobby Hillin there will have to go to the back of the pack because he's starting a backup car, and so will Bobby Hamilton. All those changes will be made as the cars roll off from the grid tomorrow, shortly before 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern Time, and the start of the Brickyard 400.
But there's some cars back there that are running awfully well that can go to the front. Who's going to win this race? 40 cars, and they really, truly all have a chance.
Well, there is a lot of thrashing going on in the garage area as the crews have been out there on the track. In this case, they're preparing the car for the first time on the racetrack. Ted Musgrave's crew hard at work.
Got the jack under the car, trying to get the springs and shocks changed, and they got to do it in a hurry. There's no time. They got to hustle. You see them changing the sway bar on the. No, they're checking the toe in on the 30 car, the Johnny Benson car.
So all kinds of activity going on as Bobby Hamilton can only wait until they got his car prepared for tomorrow's Brickyard 400. And Richard Petty also a little bit tense and nervous right now as the crew has a lot of work to do in the next few minutes and next few hours to make this car race ready. Coming up next, Senior PGA Golf, the VFW Senior Championship.
I think I'm going to take up golf my next career.
And leave the broadcast booth? Well, there are a lot of landmarks that make the Indianapolis Motor Speedway the world's greatest race course. The Gasoline Alley entrance, the Yard of Bricks, all that remain of the original brick service. They're all shooting for this trophy tomorrow that will go to the winner of the Brickyard 400. Will it be Jeff Gordon? We'll see tomorrow. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.